Now, for all of you, Aniket is our industry guest today, and has been in the security industry both as a from a product, looking at it from a product and product development perspective, but also from a security perspective. Has earned his CISSP certification. Has years of experience at, if you think about it, at places like Akamai, which build security devices, at places like Walmart, which have a lot at stake in terms of building secure systems, at e-commerce companies like Make My Trip, at more fundamental technology companies like Microsoft. And Aniket has, in addition to having all of this experience, is also a consistent and constant speaker at industry conferences and other forums. So I want to welcome Aniket. Thank you for making the time to be here. I believe you're going to interact with some of the students on this cohort much more.
Yeah.
But I want to take just a few moments. I think Aniket has planned to talk to you about some content just after this. But before he does that, I want to spend a few moments just getting to know, so that we all get to know Aniket a little bit and understand, from his vantage point, how the industry works and how we should all be thinking about the security space. Yeah, welcome, Aniket.
Thank you, Harish.
Hello. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So Aniket, it'll be great. As we get started, I know I've given the kind of formal introduction of the companies you've worked with and your associations and so on. But it'll be wonderful for people to understand, right, what your own progression in your career has been, right, and like where you started in security. How did you get into security as a space and as a career and as a profession, and how did that grow into what you do today?
Sure. Thank you. I still remember in my college days when I was looking at various subjects being taught as a part of our computer engineering course. Networking was one subject that was very close to my heart, even in 2004 onwards. And from there, I did a lot of contests when it comes to researching about different topics and speaking about them. I started my journey into the technical support area back in a long time ago, like 2006, and been working with SonicWall, Symantec, and mainly what I learned there was the troubleshooting, what kind of approach to take when you have different kinds of issues. And there's another thing that I learned there was a lot of times we are the master of that one product that you keep working on year, and you know that product in and out. You know it up to the regex level, up to the code level. However, how deep do you know the overall concept of the product? If you take antivirus for an example, if you take antivirus for an example, there any other vendor in the market, there would be a few components which are common in every product. There would be a few features that every product has. Now, that is something which goes to a more fundamental level, and the more clear you are, and the more clearer picture you have of the overall impact that the product has on the customer's environment or any other environment, I think it makes you better comfortable with that product. I've done a fair bit of consulting during my stint with Akamai, where I was evangelizing their bot management solution. I was evangelizing their WAF solution. And that is where I came across this lucrative field, this really interesting field of web attacks. This is where it's truly a game of cat and mouse, where a lot of times you find that the attackers are ahead of the game. They find new and new techniques of launching attacks, doing breaches, whereas security researchers keep the trail and try to find the traits so that they can be ahead of the game. And protecting the websites of some of the e-commerce and travel-related websites, such as Walmart or Make My Trip, that has been an interesting journey as well. Because you see, in Walmart, when an attack happens, it doesn't happen at this level. It happens at the highest level, and it's a global scale attack. It's coming in from at least 15 different countries, and there are war rooms being created. People are monitoring things at real time. Are the customers being impacted? So now you see, I have had that journey from a vendor of a product to a consumer of a product to a planning of an entire enterprise level security, where not only you need to think about the right fit for a product, but also the best way to use it, and how can we identify more and more things that we can do with that product, and how can you be better prepared with some new kinds of threats you might not have encountered in the past. And currently, I am evangelizing the bot management solution from a company called Instart, and I'm dealing with attackers every day. And well, the chase continues.
Wonderful, thank you. So Aniket, I kind of know the answer to this, but let me ask the question anyway. Right? So what is the what in your mind is a a typical week in the life of, right, for somebody like you? Is there such a typical week?
Sure. Well, a typical week for me is, there are two ways in which my week is split. A part of it is planned, where I'm meeting with the CXOs of certain companies and speaking to them about the products, about the progress that we have made. And the other half is where a lot of unpredictability comes in. That is where a lot of impromptu architecture comes in, where we see that for a website that we are protecting on a travel customer, the attack has been changing again and again. So how can we do more research and find them consistently? A lot of times in the middle of the night, when a crucial site of a premium customer goes down, how do you bring them up? How do you go on the call and instill confidence in a team of 13 people? All of them are scared because the website is under attack. Now, when you go on this call, not only have you to get the site back up, defend the attack, but also present confidence on that call, so that you as a security professional, this is truly where your overall knowledge of the industry, your overall knowledge of what's happening these days, what was the recent breach that happened, what is this new product that we have come up with which can solve this this issue. So that problem solving skill is truly where that comes in. So if I have to describe my week, I would say it can be split in these two ways.
Correct. Okay. And is there such and one thing we've noticed a lot, Aniket, is that people have come in from variety of different backgrounds, right?
Yeah.
So people obviously, even within this cohort, come from in deeply technical areas, to people who understand the information flow and data flow within a company, to people who are starting out in software development and architecture. Is there a prototypical okay, what are the features, or what are the kind of characteristics or traits that you look for, right, from a good security professional?
Sure. I think in my opinion, the why behind everything is truly what I look for. Someone might be very good at a firewall and administrating a firewall. Someone might be very good at doing the QA testing, but how deeply do they understand the why behind it? So the more deeper you have the understanding of that, then it doesn't matter if you're working on product A, B, or C, if you know the underlying technology and the reason behind it. And that is, I think, truly the trait of a security professional. And security is a mile wide and an inch deep kind of a field, where you might start with one specific specialty, but the more width that you have when it comes to your knowledge and your exposure, I think that truly defines you as a comprehensive security professional. And I think that is also where the course content of this course come into picture, where the width is equal. The width is enough for a security professional to be hearing all of these topics, to be hearing from industry about what are the current trends that are happening. So yeah, I think that is something I would look for.
Okay. And something I hear a lot from security professionals, Aniket, is that it's a field where there's a lot of hype and people always talk about it and it hits the news and all of that, but companies don't ever make the appropriate investments into it, right? Is that something you are seeing? Is that something that you've seen change? I'd love to get your perspective.
Sure. No, I think security has been more of a checkbox when it comes to the mindset of a board. but it has been changing. In the last decade, I would say this picture has changed a lot, purely because the kind of laws that we have around each of the breaches that are happening. So if you see that recently a bank had to pay around some like $29 million because their data was stolen from their S3 bucket. Now, now that's a breach that happened, and there is a direct correlation of finance associated with a security breach, and that is where the security implementations, the security architecture gets the front seat. And that has started to happen. Each and every brand is worried about the consistency of their brand, as at the same time image that they have. I was interviewing a CTO recently, and I asked him, what is your greatest fear? And he said, my greatest fear is I wake up in the middle of the night and my site is hacked and I am over CNN and my site has that hacked stamp on top of it. That is my biggest fear. So definitely, I think a lot of times it is the compliance that drives security implementations. Sometimes it is fear, and sometimes it is the pure intention of doing the right thing that drives security implementations throughout the industry.
Got it. Okay. And in the companies that you have seen, coming closer to home for you, Aniket, you worked at a number of these companies, both product and on the, as somebody who's building secure systems.
Yeah.
How do you hire into your teams, right? Any insight as to, what you look for?
Sure. Number one is the kind of exposure that the person has had. So in the CV, it should be clear what kind of technology you have worked on. And when it comes to a technical fit, we mainly look for the way they have described their skills. Some people just write down the names of the tools that they know. And there are other people who identify their true skill set of mitigating an attack or designing secure solutions. Now, even when you're speaking with someone, I mainly speak to them about their day-to-day life and day-to-day work day and how it pans out, and the kind of challenging situations that they have. Those challenging situations that truly define you as a professional, and the more clarity that you have when you're explaining what do you do. You must have heard about that story of the three stonemasons. The first one says, I'm just putting brick on top of a brick. The second one says, I'm building a wall. And the third one says, I'm building the temple of knowledge where people can come and understand what all things are happening in the world. Three people working on the same project, but describing it in differently. So it's more about the clarity of what you're doing in your professional life that you can display in an interview. That is what we look for.
Okay. And final question from me, Aniket. It sounds to me, or at least I've been making the case that, there is no such thing as a security professional, and that any technology professional should be a security professional, right? So in that context, why is there still a need for, specific cybersecurity studies? Or do you think this should just be something that all technology people should just know?
No, I believe there's a dire need for security professionals, because we have gone out of the days when you had the same man doing different kinds of things. It can still be done in a startup, but as your company grows, you need specialists. You need someone who knows in and out of web security when it comes to securing it on the code level, on the firewall level, WAF level, different levels of security. Now, the same person, if you put them into cryptography, how deep they can go, how wide they can go. And that is also where security has these different verticals in it. And security professionals, when they look for a job, or when they are making a career, you will find certain people have been doing security consulting for the last 15 years. When you go and ask that consultant that I want to implement security end to end, they will tell you the entire product suite of what all things you should do, what compliance you should follow, what timelines you should have. That's ready. You ask the same question to a project manager in security, you might not get the same answer. So skills are truly defined because of the verticals in which everyone is working. So I would say a security professional should be comfortable in different areas of a technical field, areas like networking, operating systems, areas like project planning, areas like compliance, areas like cryptography, because all of these play a certain amount of role. You might not have to go to the level of defining the cryptocurrencies or crypto standards that you will be implementing in your company, but you should know what is being implemented and why it is being implemented. Bringing me back to my previous answer, the why behind everything. The more clear you are, the better security professional you can be.
Wonderful. Thank you, Aniket.